All right, you are now watching Jew Boy Sports Show. I am your host, King Ralph, here with my boy, my co-host, Kai. What's happening?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm excited for the show today, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Basketball is back, so I think
Woo!
it's gonna be a good one. But got to introduce the people. Got someone that if you've listened to my podcast, I'm not sure if he's been on the sports one, but if you've listened to any of my podcasts, you've heard him a few times as a guest. But what's happening, Rob? How you feeling, Brody?
All is well on this side, man. Just here
Yeah,
to chop it up, have a great conversation with y'all, man. Life is good right now.
For
good,
sure.
good, good. And then I got you see the name Dopest Dino, the homie Desmond. What's good, Brody?
What up, y'all? Thank y'all for having me. Can't wait to know what we talking about. Got a lot of good
Yeah.
topics. Let's get it.
All right, all right. But before we get going, send a shout out to the sponsors. We all back and running. Although we are recording at the crib, the football episode that we are doing tomorrow will be in the studio. I just got to get in there and set some stuff up and test it out, and then we should be up and running tomorrow. But if you want to shoot any photo shoots, music videos, podcasts like what you're watching, even down to the point of you want it edited, if you're able to record on your own but don't know how to edit, call the number at the bottom of the screen, 707 Fitboxer. And like we said, basketball is starting up. It's been a lot of progression with some teams and a lot of regression with other teams. Me and Rob had a conversation. We dabbled into it a little bit, so he knows a little bit of what I'm gonna say. But anybody jump in? Who is making the playoffs in the East? Got 8 teams.
Okay. I'll start first because I got my 8. I'll try not to be too long-winded, but I believe that the Brooklyn Nets ultimately are going to be number 1 seed this year, even without Kyrie Irving playing half the games. I think it'll be fresh. I actually believe that the Milwaukee Bucks will make the playoffs as well. I actually think that they're not going to be the 1 seed though, due to the fact that Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, they played in the Olympics. Dante DiVincenzo is coming back. Giannis is coming back. Some injuries and stuff like that. Dante. So I think there's going to be a little bit of they're going to start off a little bit slow, but ultimately the chemistry and continuity is going to overcome, and they'll be just fine. I have the Atlanta Hawks as a 3 seed this year, a top 3 team. They have the deepest roster in the NBA in terms of they had 9 players averaging double-digit points. The average age of their roster is 26. Nate McMillan was on a 72% win pace when he took over for Lloyd Pierce. And if you pretty much move that across 82 games, they were on pace to win 58 games. I believe Trae Young's going to be an MVP candidate this year. Then I have the Philadelphia 76ers dropping from the 1 seed to the 4 seed. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey may actually serve to be very formidable even without Ben Simmons, because that's actually a better optimal fit. And he's still an MVP candidate, and he's the best center in the league outside of Nikola Jokic. The Miami Heat are a top 5 team for me. Then your Bulls, Chicago Bulls, come out of the dungeon. Finally, out of the musty dungeon. And they're 6. They're 6. I know a lot of people are really hype on the Bulls. I think that the Bulls are a better team than even their record might even show them. This year, but with the East just being so good, I think when you talk about standings, a lot of things are going to happen. So the standings aren't going to be set in stone. Then I have the New York Knicks. Tom Thibodeau can coach those guys up. What's his face? Kemba Walker back in Madison Square Garden. He obviously hit the shot in college there. He knows that place very well. I think they'll be the 7th seed. But I think injuries to Mitchell Robinson, Kemba's injury history, I think that's why the Bulls would usurp them. And then at number 8, I had the Boston Celtics. They did nothing that impressed me this offseason. I think their defense actually looks really good on paper. Schroeder, Tatum, Brown, Smart, very defensive team. And then the last 2 teams I have my Charlotte Hornets. I'm a new Charlotte Hornets fan, by the way, guys. And then the Washington Wizards are going to sneak in there behind Kyle Kuzma, averaging 16 points per game, Bradley Beal being the leading scorer. and somehow the Wizards are going to make it with Spencer Dinwiddie and Montrez and all them. So those are my teams.
Playing, right?
Yeah, that's a play-in. They're the 10. I think that's number 10. Yeah.
Okay.
The Wizards get the 10, and then they have to go back and forth. Yeah. They have to fight against the Hornets, and I think the Hornets maybe would fight against the Celtics, but I think we're going to miss it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my team.
Yeah.
All right, Des, jump in there.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, so we doing it. We said we're doing it by order, right?
Oh no, you
Yeah.
don't. We are doing it.
You don't have to, but
Yeah, you don't have
you
to.
don't have to, but if it helps.
That's my special behind.
Only thing I can say is, by far, if they're healthy, even without Kyrie, like we said, Brooklyn is number one. I do believe Bucks will come back at number two. They still a very strong team, no matter if Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday just played in the Olympics. I feel like even though we're about to be in a third season in the last year and a half, which is kind of weird. But I do believe with their chemistry, they're just an overall great team that you can't sleep on. We're at three, Atlanta. Trae Young is really the truth. Like
Trae the truth. That's his new nickname.
I don't understand how this man is so good, so quick, but it's ridiculous how far he has come up, because at one point in time, I'm not going to lie, I didn't even believe in him. Like he was about to be a bust. Not going to front. But that man is nasty. I'm going to go with the sleeper, and they are also my favorite team, the Bulls, at number 4. Okay. Bulls are looking very strong. Even though it has been preseason, we played the Cavs. We're damn near 40-piece in these teams. Yeah. Besides last night where we went off a game. But we are looking like we have very great, very quick. And that is something, as watching the Bulls over the past couple of years, we have not had at all.
That's
like,
very true.
Very how bad is. So I'm at 4. Go with the Sixers being at 5. Don't know what they're really going to do with the whole Ben Simmons situation, but they do have the best man in the game as far as, to me, I think the best big man in the game as Embiid. Some will argue Jokic, but Embiid is really MVP candidate. We already seen it.
I agree.
I'm going to go as, I know you said 10th for y'all. I low-key believe in the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's are nice. And I don't know if it's just the whole ball train or whatever, because now Lonzo's now on our squad, and I now love LaMelo.
Most exciting brothers to watch.
That man is really unguardable. Like for being about to be in his second year, I can't wait to be watching him in his second year. I know they lost Malik Monk to the Lakers.
Yeah,
but they're just a team that's overall been pretty fun to watch, and I feel they can, since they're all young, they could all grow into each other like very gradually. What was that? 6?
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Boston. I'll go with Boston, even though they did nothing, like you said, nothing. Jason Tatum, as far as that guy, they do have depth right now. Their defense is still looking amazing. I believe a lot in their coaching system. I know a lot of people don't believe in Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
But he's also shown me what he can do as far as what he has. I just feel all those players together and really build as a team, and they will be pretty good. And then I'll go with the Knicks at 8. I still believe last year was a fluke. I don't care what everybody says.
At 8?
At 8.
At 8.
Coach
They
T
didn't have Mitchell Robinson, bro. They didn't even have Mitchell Robinson.
I know.
No Mitchell Robinson for like most of the season. No Fournier. You know, I don't like Fournier really. I just don't. But anyway, that's personal.
He only balls out for France.
Julius,
Cardiac Kimba.
completely disappeared. Like
Yeah.
I don't know who disappeared worse in the playoffs out as far as him or Ben Simmons. To be completely honest,
Oh
both
yeah.
were horrible.
I don't have to make any noise actually in the playoffs either. Yeah, and I definitely respect your opinion because I'm pretty sure my NBA Finals champion is going to be different than everyone on the panel. So, but that's another story. So,
Let me find making the horn.
no. I wish, man. I'd be like, what? I would faint, bro. I would be like, what? But nah.
I do believe the Wizards, as far as like a play-in, can be there. Bradley Beal has been that dude as far as being, since he was at Florida, been that scorer. There's a lot of people. I was having a debate with the dude yesterday saying that Bradley Beal was nothing, but I'm like, Bradley Beal's just, as far as his career, has been injured. But when he's on the court, we see what he can do.
I got a quick question for you. Quick question. It won't be long. And I have a personal preference, but I had a really long-winded debate with some people about this like months ago. Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal, removing any bias, who do you think is actually better? I actually think Zach LaVine's better, and I think he's 2 years younger, but that's just me. They're very close, though, in proximity to me personally. Because you guys are Bulls fans and stuff.
Yeah,
I
think Zach is the truth.
The comparison, I go Zach LaVine and Jason Tatum.
Okay.
More than Bradley Beal. Because Bradley
is way
eyes, like as far as just making a bucket, playmaking, along with athleticism and just all-round guard, I go with comparing to like the guards of the league more than the forwards. So Jason Tatum and Zach LaVine are like in that same craft.
Isn't Jason Tatum considered a forward?
He's considered a 3 and a 4. I always compared him.
He plays the 4, but he's a 3.
Yeah,
he's PG, but he is PG.
Now he's playing the 4.
Yeah, he reminds me so much of Paul George because he said he looked up to Paul George, but he plays the 3 and the 4, and George plays the 2 and the 3. It gets so confusing to me, man.
It's just
it's like the T-Mac and Kobe thing. What was T-Mac? A 3 or a 2?
Right.
He could be a 5 for all we care, but if he's dribbling up the ball, it doesn't really matter.
Right. But I just had to ask that question because I was like, yo, that's actually a really cool thing. Because like if you look at the stats and then you look at the fact that Bradley Beal always had until recently a John Wall in the playoffs who was averaging like 27 and 10 in his prime. You know what I'm saying? But Zach LaVine never had a dominant point guard to actually play with. And now he has someone who can actually give him the ball in spots that he wants. You know what I'm saying? But production-wise, I think LaVine's had 30-point games, 50-point games. Beal was just a leading scorer, but I think both of them defensively had some question marks. And obviously LaVine mentioned this season, he's like, I want to up my defense this year. So I thought it was pretty good question just to see like where everyone was at with that. So
be completely real, that could be tossed at the 1A, 1B type question. Like no one could really like, because if you put either or on switch roles, their team will still be in that same exact position, to be honest.
I one see it.
Debate too much, maybe some one another, but it really wouldn't be too far of a difference because their gameplay very similar. Very similar.
Okay.
All right, for sure. Hey, how many is that, bro?
That was 8, right?
Nah, because was a playing. Who am I missing?
Oh yeah. Playing.
You put the Hornets at 7,
6.
or was it?
He had Hornets at 6. I know you had the Knicks at 8. You had someone at 7.
I had the Hornets at 6. I had Celtics at 7. Knicks at Washington as a playing. And who can I say is also another? Who am I forgetting?
Yes, there's the
you mentioned the Pacers.
Oh, hold on.
They're always hurt though. That's the only
Pacers haven't been mentioned once this entire time.
Because they're always hurt, but they could be in it. They weren't in it last year.
Bro, they finna get in the playoffs. Sorry, my bad. I don't want to expose my list, but that's wild. All right.
No, let me.
What if Terrence traded though? No, go ahead.
Something different, but like I said, I completely forgot the Heat.
No. You had the Heat at wait. You didn't have the Heat.
I didn't. I forgot.
I didn't have the Heat.
You just slide that list down, bro.
I had to start from the beginning, man. No,
Let me put the Heat at 6 and everybody else up 1. So
6.
Well, I have them at 5, so I mean that's not bad.
All right.
they got a championship point guard.
Yeah, they're the great value.
Don't get me started on Kyle Lowry.
Even though I don't really care about him, I don't. Really
don't even get me started on Kyle Lowry.
It's the most hated point guard ever.
Yeah, pretty much. Outside of Russ, I would say that's probably.
Yeah.
And then for the sake of time, we're gonna have to jump into the who's making the playoffs for the West. And Rob, I'm gonna let you go first.
As far as the West, the Nuggets will be back with a healthy Jamal Murray. This is no order, just because I didn't really think of the West, just because the West is
no worries about it, man. Yeah.
But off rip, I got the Lakers in there. The Nuggets will be in there. The Suns will be in there, but they will be a low seed just because injuries due to playoffs last year changed the tides of the whole playoff run when it came to the Suns. So it was in their favor. But the Suns will definitely be in there as a low seed. I see Grizzlies making a run in the play-in. I wouldn't know who they would play, but they will be back. Obviously, Clippers will be back. I'm thinking a top 5 seed for them in the regular season.
Someone put some respect on them finally.
I mean, they've always been a great team, but once it comes down to playoffs, it's just either injuries or the job just does not get done.
Yep.
It's one or the other.
Ty Lue messed that up in the conference finals.
Factor in today's game, so yeah, it's a lot of elements that have shown me that, like, when it's time to get you done, it just don't show up.
Yep.
So yeah, but the Clippers will definitely be in there. You got that. The Warriors top 3. Honestly, I'm seeing the Warriors as top 3. They will be back as that team that they used to be, but because Clay is fresh can be. Been gone for, is it 2 seasons now?
Yeah, 2 seasons. 2 seasons, man.
2 seasons without a Clay Thompson. And Clay Thompson as that player who shows up more out of anyone on that team. Even outside of Kevin Durant, before he came to the team, you needed Clay to hoop. Steph was going to get his, but Ralph, as you said yesterday, like opposed to like Trae Young, these streak shooters are hot and cold.
Yeah.
So when Steph is cold, that man is cold. And then when he's hot, we've seen Hall of Fame performances from this man. But Clay, he doesn't need that many dribbles.
Yeah.
He's gonna get
60 points, bro. How you get 60 points with less than 10 dribbles?
They have a lot of depth on that Warriors team as well. It's just whether or not they show up, but they do have depth. Yeah, Kumanja, Jordan Poole. We'll probably get to him later on. Yeah. That dude Poole, nice.
I'm saying a top 3 team because the Lakers will be in there. I want to say Warriors, Nuggets. I feel like I'm like missing a whole lot just because
you are the team that nobody cares about out west. The Jazz.
The Jazz, but that's like a regular season thing. Even though
that's the problem with the Jazz. They're too nice in the regular season every year. Yeah.
It's just matchup wise and schemes when it comes down to a playoff run, they are not really effective. And not that many threats.
Yeah.
So, I mean, outside of shutting down the best player, Donovan Mitchell, that's pretty much where matchups come into play, late games in playoffs. But regular season wise, the Jazz will still be there. So what I got: Warriors, Jazz, Lakers, Nuggets.
Got the Mavs.
Mavs will be that like 6-7. They'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, Mavs will be like that 6-7.
Oh, you also forgot the Clippers. You
No,
said
Oh yeah, I got the Clippers. Clippers will be top 5.
Yeah, you said top 5.
Clippers will be top 5. I see. I'm not really. The Blazers are too small for me to put them 6. They're small for me. When I see like matchups and teams in the West, a lot of teams are a lot bigger than the Blazers. And you got Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Nurkic, which we all know defending bigs is pretty bad. And then you got McCollum and Dame. Offensive wise, you're gonna have to stop them. But once it gets down to getting stops, against certain matchups in the West, it's going to be pretty tough for them. Hopefully they figure out that type of scheme, but they will either be 6. I'm like, if they perform the way that they should, and Dame will show up. We all know this. It's just if everyone else shows up, I see them as 6. But if they don't, and this ends up being a blunder, I see them dropping to that play-in. But they'll be in playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah. If they don't perform, they'll drop to that play-in. So you got Blazers. Okay.
You said 2.
And then trying to think.
I think that's 8. Because you had Blazers, Clippers, Lakers, Jazz, Suns,
Warriors.
Warriors. Yeah, Warriors. So that was 7, and then you had Mavericks. Oh, Nuggets. You didn't mention the Nuggets, but that was like
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Nuggets will be back to like Jamal Murray's is healthy.
Oh yeah, he did. That was the first team you mentioned.
Yeah, the Nuggets was the first team. So yeah, I got Nuggets, Suns, Lakers, Warriors, the Jazz, Blazers,
Mavericks.
Like who else?
Yeah, that's big. And then you have like the Memphis Grizzlies and all that.
Yeah, Grizzlies for a play-in. Trying to think like who in the West is a play-in.
The rest of the teams in the West, I'm gonna be real, they're cow fodder, man. They suck.
Yeah.
They got good players on them, but they just suck, man. The Pelicans, nope. Zion's going to New York one day after Kemba blows out his knee. Let me see. You have like the Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell, I think are a sleeper team, actually. But I'm just listing off names for teams for you, man. Like, and then you have like the Rockets with like Jalen Green and Kevin Porter and John Wall. They're not doing anything this year, so
yeah,
but they'll have good players on it. But
they'll be entertaining to watch, though.
Oh yeah. I got him on my fantasy team, Jalen Green.
Oh, we're gonna be talking about Green in a little bit.
Yeah. So did you want to list off your who you got in the
I got mine in I'm gonna do it in order.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Nuggets at 1.
Woo!
I just think that with Jamal Murray coming back, you re-sign Aaron Gordon, give Michael Porter the max with Jokic. That 4, that's a big 4 in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that like the way that they complement each other, and with Jokic being running the point, I guess you could say, I just think it fits. I think they're going to end up going 1. I'm going to have the Lakers at 2 just because I think Russ gets hurt a lot. AD gets hurt a lot. And LeBron, I ain't going to say he gets hurt a lot, but last couple of years he showed that he needs more rest, that he has to go hard. So I don't think that they're going to get the 1, but I do think they'll do some damage in the playoffs. I got the Warriors at 3. Getting their key players back, adding some youth, and actually having a legit big. I think that they'll, as long as everybody can stay healthy. I'm not predicting injuries while I'm doing this list. So we're gonna get the Jazz next. The Jazz are just always in the mix when it comes to the regular season. They're always in the top 4, so it's hard for me to put them anything less than that. I think that like Donovan Mitchell is taking his game to the next level. the keeping Jordan Clarkson. And just they just I'm playing under Quinn, man. They just play so well. They're just always in the mix, bro. They play hard.
I agree.
And as racist as that them fans are, they come out and they support.
God.
But then after that, I got the Suns. I think that's 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's 5. Suns at 5. Keeping CP, I think it's still gonna be dope. But I think at this point, he's been playing well, so I'm kind of interested to see what happens as far as how well he continues to keep playing. Especially at the age that he is, with him being so small. We haven't seen anybody stay this effective, but people are playing longer thanks to modern sports medicine and the way that they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that one goes. After that, that's when it kind of gets tricky for me because I'm like, I want to throw certain teams in there, but then when I start really thinking about players that have they're lost and players that other people have gained, like, I don't know. I kind of want to go. I want to go Clippers here, but then at the same time, I could argue that the Mavs are going to end up being in a higher position. So I'm gonna go with the Mavs. Some of the people that they've gotten on that team, I think playing with someone like, I don't know, Kyle, I think we talked about Moses.
Yeah.
The addition of Moses, I think playing with someone like a Luka where he could just set screens and drive hard to the basket for oops and things like that, I think it'll play dividends because he's a very lengthy defender, a legit rim protector, had a 2020 game in the league. So like,
yeah,
I like that addition.
And remember, I was gonna say, because when I was gonna list my team, I was gonna say, adding on to your point, bolstering your point, the Mavs had a COVID outbreak last year. We assume that's not going to happen in this year, and they were the 5th seed despite the COVID outbreak, and they didn't have Porzingis for a full offseason. Now they have Porzingis for a full offseason. So you think about, despite the COVID outbreak and having Porzingis for a full offseason, they could quietly be a 4 or 5 seed, despite they didn't really add too much. So they could be as high as 4, maybe low as, whatever you have them. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you on that. There's somewhere in there.
Right. And then next I'm gonna go Grizzlies. I just love that tenacity that Ja plays with. Dylan falls right along with him. And Jaren Jackson compliments them well. Them just getting older and trying to just surround them with some pieces. They lost some people that I think were key, but at the same time, I think their progression, getting to the next level, them being third or fourth year for all of them. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens, but I think that they'll play pretty well and get in that 7-8 spot. I got them at 7, and then my last one is I got the Clippers at 8. I think they're going to play well. That they're going to have stretches where they play very well. They're going to have stretches where they play like trash. But I do think that overall, the amount of talent on that team it's going to put. Plus, with Kawhi falling out, it gives an opportunity to see what you got out of Terrence Mann. He's going to play crucial minutes because he played crucial minutes in the playoffs. I think he earned his time in the rotation. And so with that, I got them at 8. I think that the two teams that I would say, I would love to say the Kings because I love watching De'Aaron Fox, but I just don't like that roster. I do think that if they were able to make some pieces, not being able to count for trades and things like that, but if they can move some pieces and arrange talent to where it's at a different position, then I think they would be well suited to get it out the mud like that instead of like how they're doing it right now. They keep drafting a bunch of point guards and 2 guards that all look and kind of play
like five of the same player at the same position.
Exactly. Like if you got De'Aaron Fox, there's no way you should
point guard
to draft Halliburton.
I like
Although
Davion.
he's nice.
Mitchell that they got. Mitchell is nice. That boy's nice.
Right.
But
And then they draft another one this year. So, like, come on, bro. Like, what y'all on?
They want him, bro. They
it's the
do.
Sacramento Queens, as Shaq used to say.
You can't
Right.
tell one good thing about Sacramento.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
So was that 10? Was that your 10? For the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you
so
want
with
to
that, we got
Nah,
yeah, we got who is in the playoffs now. We got trying to think what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 30 minutes. Yeah, we got about 5 minutes. Who's winning the finals and why?
I'll go first just to get it out because you know how I be, man, with all this stuff. So I actually truly believe that the Milwaukee Bucks, yes, are going to repeat. I believe in Giannis Antetokounmpo. I believe in his mission. I believe in his mindset. The reason why I believe the Milwaukee Bucks are going to repeat is first, the one team they have to beat this year, yes, is the Brooklyn Nets. They are favored, but there's a lot of ifs involving the Brooklyn Nets. Last year, if that happened, well, I believe in fate. It didn't happen. I love Kyrie Irving. He's probably my second, third favorite player in the NBA, but he's never healthy, right? Then you have the fact that James Harden in elimination games, especially in game sevens, he plays actually god awful. If you look it up, Steve Nash last season failed to put in Speedy Claxton. Me and Ralph, we talked about that multiple times. He left in Joe Harris. He has no championship pedigree, never won as a player. First year head coach last year. Like it's just not it. But ultimately, if you go from the Nets, the Lakers, and the Bucks, what team has the most chemistry and continuity out of those? The Bucks. What team has the best defense and rebounding? The Bucks. What team quietly is being disrespected by the media? The Bucks, who added 3-level scorer in Rodney Hood, added a sharpshooter in Grayson Allen, brought back chemistry and continuity and Bobby Portis, retained Bobby Portis. PJ Tucker, yes, they lost him, but they replaced him with a 10-year younger Simi Ojeleye for defense and a better shooter. Also, people don't know that PJ Tucker never started last year. Dante DiVincenzo started last year, and DiVincenzo was back. And now they have George Hill, who was there with their Eastern Conference Finals run. So quietly, the Bucks bolstered their unit and got better at every single position that players they got rid of. Like Jeff Teague, you probably didn't even know he was on the team last year. Well, now they have George Hill. You'll know he's on the team this year. So there's so many different things that the Milwaukee Bucks did. And the Nets have nobody to guard Giannis. Like, let's be real. LaMarcus Aldridge, love him. Nice player. Maybe he'll be a future Hall of Famer. He's not guarding Giannis. Paul Millsap, hell no. Speedy Claxton, they're talking about possibly trading him, which would be stupid to do. And KD can't guard Giannis. So when you're talking about championship teams, yes, some things need to break their way to be a championship. But that makes the story all that much more sweeter. And I personally believe the Bucks are actually going to win back-to-back titles, and they're going to end the super team era. So that's just me personally. And I tried to keep that about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. All right.
Rob, jump in. Or Des, jump in. Which one? Jump in. Get in there.
My sleeper team, as far as outside of being healthy, because I do believe the Nets will win it all. But if I had to go with someone else outside of the Nets, I'm not going to lie, I really like the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a real sleeper team. Like how you said, with the injury of Jamal Murray last year, really did hurt them, but they still made it pretty deep in the playoffs. Like we thought they were going to. And then the upcoming Michael Porter Jr., I knew he was going to be a sleeper pick when he got picked, 16th in the draft. He got out of the lottery. So I'm looking at this kid when he was in high school, a game at Mizzou. Like he's really hooping like KD. He's just that back. It's the only problem. Like,
got a stiff back.
That back issue, that back injury, it bothered them in the playoffs too. That's why I'm a little worried about the Nuggets. But I understand, man. They're a nice team on paper.
But out of him, they also have, who other people will say, arguably the best big man, the MVP, Jokic, Jamal Murray. They got Bobo. Hey, I'm a big fan of Bobo. They got Jeff there for the defense, Will Barton, the signing of Aaron Gordon. That team's just a nice squad for me.
Will Barton's from the home city too, by the way, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Shout out to Will Barton. Will the three.
Hey, shout out to B More.
So outside of like, if everything goes how it's supposed to go, I do believe we'll win it. Even
I respect that.
do with Kyrie. If they trade him, if they let him play on, I do believe that they're the best team in the NBA. But I would not be surprised if the Nuggets win it at all.
Oh, win it, not just make it. You said win it. Ooh. Wait. So who would they play in the finals though?
Nuggets. I mean the Nets. The Nets.
Oh yeah, that's where I jump off that train. So like, Kyrie and Katie ain't going down. It's a me personally.
So who'd you had the Bucks? Who'd you had the Bucks beating?
Me, I had the Bucks. Oh, me, I had the Bucks over the Lakers.
Oh shit! All right, Rob, get in there, boy.
I think it's a solid pick.
So adding that, as far as favorites, number one favorites, if everything goes well, I do see the Lakers making it work. As far as with that team, having older teams usually win finals runs just because you need those vets. You need those people that have been in those situations multiple times again and again. Having a team stacked of future Hall of Famers, in theory, should work. And with Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, LeBron, AD, DeAndre Jordan, they're adding. When it comes down to what you need in a championship run, rebounds, defense, and just veteran generals that know how to make plays and know situations that are going to happen before it even happens. That team, on paper, sounds like they'll get the job done. Yep. With that, I will say this as a dark horse. Outside of the Nuggets, which I do see the Lakers playing in the Western Conference Finals, the Mavericks, usual matchup when it comes down to the Clippers is the Mavericks. I see Mavericks getting the edge this season if they do play them in the playoffs. And then
with or without the Kawhi.
With. That team got worse. They lost Rondo and Pat Bev. So who's guarding Doncic? And
no, I'm not. I don't actually agree that they got worse, but I'm listening to what you had to say. So
yeah. I mean, outside of what
Ross Space is
the best player.
Yeah, I know you say Pat Bev and then say you guarded Doncic.
Jackson took Rondo's job, man. That's what happened.
We know Kawhi's job to guard the best player. But as far as depth goes, that team is a lot better than the Clippers on paper, in my opinion. With the Nuggets, with them being healthy, we saw what they did in the bubble, and it shocked the world, honestly. We didn't really think they were going to get that far. And those would be my honorable mentions as far as like the Mavericks sneaking into that Western Conference Finals like usual teams do. It's always that one team that surprises the whole entire bracket. But Western Conference between Nuggets and the Lakers, I give the Lakers the edge. And then on the Eastern, it's just a battle of the Bucks and Nets. If standings go right, in the perfect world in my eyes, because I just want to see the best two teams in each side of the field go against each other. And in my opinion, it's the Bucks and the Nets. The way Kai is saying it, yeah, Bucks might be that team that just ends this era. Just having a team, building them from the ground up without just having major players team up together and then try to make things work. The Bucks are kind of like that Detroit Piston 04 type of vibe, just taking out a certain era. Because if they didn't get the job done, this super team era, we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long they would be doing this. But that's going to be a matchup with Kyrie and James Harden playing. This is outside of injuries and everything else that's going on. I see the Nets getting the edge just because KD almost got the job done. But I mean, elements, obviously, in playoffs, injuries, and everything else. You need supporting characters on your team to show up. James Harden isn't hurt. Kyrie, Joe Harris, just with that, seeing that this is their first their second time coming back into this. I feel like they're gonna have some game plans. With the Bucks losing certain things, I feel like PJ Tucker during the playoff run was a vital part of the team. Losing that, obviously Drew Holiday is gonna step up, Giannis, Middleton, and everyone else. But having that defensive threat outside of Drew, you need that. And with Giannis, I feel like he's gonna be focused a lot more on the defensive side as opposed to offense. Because PJ Tucker definitely helped him. He didn't really have to do much. PJ Tucker will always switch. If Giannis has to leave a best player that is a 4 or 5, naturally the KDs. So that's how that with that series, I do see KD getting the edge just because whoever switches is going to have an issue. And if Giannis has to guard someone else, he's pretty much just going to have to watch KD work.
I wanted to mention something that you had talked about that. I actually do believe that Giannis is, when I make my pick, I actually considered that as well. I think the thing is Giannis is up for the challenge, but I think that Giannis is actually going to have to, I think he's going to have to have a bigger responsibility on that. So, yeah. I agree. All right, let's move on to the next.
Word. Rookie of the year, y'all. I think this race is going to be really good. I think that you're going to see a lot of young talent get a lot of opportunity. Like Mobley down for Cleveland should get a lot of burn. Jalen Green should get a lot of burn. Cade, I honestly think they should just hand him the keys and get out the way. With that squad, Davion Mitchell down in Sacramento, I think if his whether or not his chance of winning the Rookie of the Year is based on if they keep De'Aaron Fox. If they move him, then unless they get a legit point guard, then he's going to get a lot of burn this season. So I think that's a couple people that I would throw in that mix. But I'm gonna hand it off.
I think I obviously am going with Jalen Green. I feel like the Rockets are just basing everything of their play off of his, and this is also going to also fall in fact of how their team actually plays. Because what's his name? Not Kevin Porter.
Kevin Porter. Yeah.
He's looking pretty nice as well. They have the upgrade of Christian Wood. And I've been watching Jalen Green since he was in high school.
Yeah.
And he's been really that nice of a dude where he could create his own bucket any and everywhere.
Yeah.
So watching him on the Rockets during this whole little preseason, he's been doing what I've been expecting him to do. The reason why he went second in the draft. I do like Cunningham. Ed Cunningham is great, but he plays for Detroit. And like I can't name anything outside of Cade Cunningham to be good on Detroit, to be completely honest.
Yep.
And so I personally believe Jalen Green is going to win unanimously.
Ooh.
Unanimous. I just think there's too much talent out there, man. Because then, was it Kuminga? He's Suggs. With him getting injured, it's going to affect his minutes. But he was going to get a lot of burn. I think Suggs is going to get a lot of burn. Like I said, Mobley. I think that Scotty Barnes is going to get a lot of rep.
Yeah.
It just depends on what they do with it. I do think that those two are the most equipped to do it. I think that Davion Mitchell is actually nice enough to where he would just because I seen him give who was that Book Night?
Yeah, he locked my boy up Book Night. Like
he locked Book Night up. Like he was not going nowhere.
It was like personal.
So, what? Right? Yeah, it was just like, wait, this is who y'all said was nice as me. Yeah, let's shut all that down.
MJ make a trade Book Night, man. MJ trade him down.
Yeah, get him out of here. Get him out of here. But Rob, who's your Rookie of the Year, bro?
I'm favoring towards Jalen Suggs. Like when it comes down to like Cade Cunningham, like all round game, it's the top three, like Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, and then Jalen Suggs. Like those recovering teams and those rebuilding teams are going to be the favorites of the Rookie of the Year decisions for this year. So I do think the Magic is going to be a sleeper, and with Jalen Suggs, he's gonna get the keys, kind of like how Cade Cunningham is when it comes to being that first option on the point guard aspect. Him being able to score, facilitate. His game is very smooth. Has a high IQ and a good sense of the game. I do see Jalen Suggs surprising people, but with Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham, I do see him as favorites. But I'll go with the dark horse on this one. Just say Jalen Suggs.
Okay.
For sure, for sure. So, you kind of mentioned somebody's name earlier that I think should be in the running. So, Kai, I'm gonna let you go at it. Who's your most improved player?
So, my most improved player of the year award is going to go to one Jordan Poole. I believe that Jordan Poole, you talk about a guy who went from Warriors fans, bashing him, saying that he should be traded. He had to spend time in the G League to now becoming this sharpshooting specialist that we got a chance to see when he was at University of Michigan, learning underneath the tutelage of Steph Curry. He's been balling out in preseason. He has the confidence. I believe there's going to be times when he plays the point guard role as well. Jordan Poole, he's in it for a breakout. This year, he's my most improved player of the year, and the other candidates that will be in that race, Michael Porter Jr. I'm surprised he wasn't there last season, I believe, but Michael Porter Jr., Lonzo Ball should be getting heavy consideration for most improved player of the year award. Terrence Mann, he's going to get about 30-35 minutes. I call him AKA I'm a man, not a boy, Terrence Mann. And then I think there was like another guy that I'm probably missing. Oh, Kevin Porter Jr. As well will be the other candidates. But ultimately, I believe Jordan Poole is going to win it, Ralph. And I think he's going to eventually, as the season goes on, he's going to start to separate himself from the pack. So, yeah.
All right, Rob, get in there, bro.
When it comes down to that, a lot of people that don't mention it is just because we weren't even mentioning the Pacers. But with the defensive threats as generations go on, Miles Turner, I see him definitely being a sleeper when it comes to a most improved player. His size on paper, like 7'1" or 7'2"?
He's like 7 foot something.
Yeah. With that, him being a stretch big as well, being able to shoot the three, being able to be a post player, dominant defensive player. Even with him being so young, I see him being a sleeper. But outside of that, Lonzo Ball was going to be the person that I picked. Because just the way that they were supposed to play him on the Pelicans would have set him up earlier in his career. If they, I don't know what we were thinking. I thought once we
don't say we.
Yeah, we always believe. I think I believe. That was my guy coming out of UCLA.
Like, we really thought this is the big three. How can you stop this? But coach had different plans. But with
the coach stopped this.
Yeah, but with Lonzo having a supporting cast, I definitely see Lonzo becoming a most improved player.
I hope he stays healthy. That's the only thing I think.
Yeah,
I hope he stays healthy.
Yeah, I think that I'd agree with a little bit of everything that y'all said. I think that for me, I got Kevin Porter Jr. I think it was a little bit of. I think it is gonna have to do a little bit with some of the things I brought up with other people. If this happens, then this. So I hate to get into this game where I'm trying to predict the future, but with John Wall coming to an agreement of not being there, I think that the best thing for them to do is move on and just get the keys to the young fellas and see how they rock out. I think with Kevin Porter saying he wants to play the point guard position and showing the ability to run the point, get others involved while also still get buckets. I think that he's going to take his game to the next level. I think that he has the potential to be in the. I just looked it up. He was averaging 18 and 6. I think he can go to about 24 and 8, which I think would kind of solidify enough improvement that we've seen for him to go from one to the next. I could see him being in the conversation. I don't know about making the All-Star team, but I can see him being in that conversation. So I think Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be my most improved player. Dez, I'm going to let you take at it for the defensive player.
For the defense?
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Defense. Okay.
Who plays defense anymore, right?
Even though we still don't know where he'll be at by the start of the season or if he'll be playing at the start of the season, I do like Ben for that pick.
Ooh, I like you. You like the sleepers, man. I like that, man.
Yeah.
I don't think Simmons is a sleeper, though.
No, I'm saying because he might not play certain games. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
But, like, a lot of people got to understand, yes, that man did not show up in playoffs. Yes, that man can't shoot a 3 to save his life. But when you have a 6'10" dude that could guard literally any position to a very good extent, from a 6-foot point guard to a 7-foot center, he's going to play them in a very good form. Like, a lot of people are probably a couple of y'all are going to say Rudy Gobert. But put Rudy Gobert on Steph. And I'm not going to say Ben Simmons is going to...
None of us going to say Rudy Gobert.
I'm not saying...
My face is like, what?
But if you put Ben Simmons on Steph versus Rudy Gobert on Steph, we've seen what Steph has done against... He had that in a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Had that man in a literal tornado.
Yeah.
And
bro, the Clippers exposed him, bro. They literally just put him on an island. It was like, yeah, go on over there and guard him, big fella.
Exactly. So I'm tired of the Rudy Gobert. Like, I'm tired of him. Like, he's great as a big man defender. He's great as a big man defender. Of course, you're 7'1". You're gonna block any damn near point guard if you go up with him. But when you have Ben Simmons that can move with any point guard to center at a very high rate, you can't beat that at all. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to tell your point guard to try to post this man up because you're not going to get past him. He's too long. He's too big. And when it comes down to the center, he's more than likely faster than the center. So what are you going to do? He's long.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Ben Simmons, no matter where he goes, he could go to the Beijing Bobcats. I don't care.
Okay. I mess with that, man.
Yeah, and Kyle, you got 2.5 minutes. Tell me who your
MVP
is. Not MVP, but defensive player of the year.
All right, mine's Bam Adebayo. He finished top 5 of the last 2 seasons, 4th and 5th place finish. I believe Miami Heat is going to have the best defense now that the Lakers have lost KCP and Caruso, and I believe it's going to be between Miami and the Milwaukee Bucks as the number 1 defensive team. And with all the additions Miami made on defense with PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry taking charges, Oladipo being back, I believe that Bam Adebayo, it usually goes to bigs, is going to get it this year. And I think Ben Simmons actually got robbed last year of the defensive player of the year, personally. Yeah, but I think the media storm against him right now is going to cause voters not to vote for him. So I got Bam.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I think for me, it just depends on what happens with Ben. If Ben can play, if they're going to play, I don't know how they playing 82 games still.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yeah, they're back at 82.
All right, so with 82 games, if he can play at least 70, then I think that he'll be able to display enough defensive prowess to where he can jump in that conversation.
Yeah,
if without him though, I'm gonna go AD.
I think he's in there too.
Yeah. I think Anthony Davis is gonna. If Ben Simmons can play enough games to show what he got, it'll be him. But if not, AD is gonna get it. I think that he should have got it too.
AD though.
Yeah,
you could.
He's gonna play enough games.
You could, but I feel like 2 years ago, AD should have got that. The year that they won the finals, AD should have got that defensive player of the year, or at least got some MVP talk. Like they was acting as if he didn't exist.
Yeah, they didn't give him anything at all, you know.
Yeah, and like no kind of praise, no defensive player.
Yeah. They gave it to Giannis for and Giannis is probably the best help defender, but when you talk about on ball, Ben Simmons, AD, those guys.
Yes. So, yeah. And so Rob, I'm gonna let you get in there, man. We got 5 minutes, so
MVP.
Talk your stuff. Talk your stuff. Who is winning the MVP?
Seeing that he is now the first option, I see that Bradley Beal. I'm going to go with Bradley Beal with being the MVP. Them losing Russ and having Russ getting so many touches and having him distribute the ball. Losing him and gaining a lot of supporting cast as far as role players and players that can actually shoot. Bradley Beal definitely has enough room for him to get his money and pass it off when needed. Giving it to Kuzma or what is it? Who else was in that trade?
Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl.
KRS-One.
Caldwell. Yeah, Caldwell.
And then they got Spence too.
Yeah.
Yep.
In another trade.
That Hachimura, like it's a great rebuilding, supporting class of players when it comes to the Wizards.
Yeah.
And Bradley Beal obviously is going to get the keys now, considering that there's not really like a John Wall or a Russell Westbrook to support him. He's definitely going to get more touches and, if anything, at least 25 to 30 shots, like off rip. And giving Bradley Beal that many touches, something is bound to happen. So, I mean, as far as with him, I do see him being the MVP. Outside of that, can't really think of like anyone else. I mean, obviously you need a winning record. There's a lot of elements that go into it. So, I mean, Giannis is another one as well that I would mention as far as being an MVP.
Hey, Dennis, jump in there. Who's your MVP?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Steph.
Okay.
I do believe records do put in a huge point in the being MVP. I like Bradley Beal, but their team isn't going to be overall record-wise to be even considered, to be completely real.
Right.
Now, if the Warriors do step up, we already know who it's going to be about, and that's because of Steph Curry. The way he plays the game, the way his Hall of Fame shooting is just unstoppable. And like how Kai said, they could be a top 3 seed, bar none. So putting Steph in a top 3 seed versus anybody else, like I really feel like he could do it. Outside of him, I would give it to KD. We don't know what Kyrie is going to be on this year. We don't know what James Harden is going to play like this year. But we do know what KD can do regardless of them two playing. So them two are my top 2 options for sure.
All
right, for sure. And that was a good show, fellas. Thank you all for getting in there. I do want to spend the rest of this time to stay on par with my hour show time limit. So, Rob, I'm gonna let you get off anything you got. You got 30 seconds to get off what you want to promote.
I mean, as far as my artistry, I do have a couple singles out right now. Ring the Alarm and The Chase, first singles that I've ever put out on all platforms. So it's kind of like, feels like stepping into the league my damn self. So with that, check out Robert Hayes with 3 E's at the end on IG. That, Twitter, Goolsby 90s, spelled like a ghost, like a ghoul, Goolsby 90s with an S at the end on Snapchat. Yeah.
All right, Dez, jump in. You got 30 seconds too, bro.
Up and coming photographer out of Vegas. You can follow me on IG, Dope Pics Dino, not my actual name right here. This is my Instagram regular page and Twitter. But if you want to follow my IG page, it's Dope Pics Dino.
All right.
And thank you all for watching. It was a dope episode. And make sure you follow us at J.U.K. Sports Show. Follow me on Instagram as well as TikTok at KYNGRALPH. Make sure you follow the YouTube channel, the He Say She Say channel. Like our Facebook page as well. because next week we will be going live on only that one. I will stop going live for my personal page.
All right, and you can follow me. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
You can follow me at
Go ahead.
@hoops on Instagram for all hoops content.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being with us, fellas. Everybody, peace out.
Gotcha, bro.
This is